Underpowered Hour. This week, I'm joined by Chris, who doesn't listen to the show, to talk about the Queen's English Car Festival and his experience purchasing a Mini from an online auction and what to look out for. And now, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Barris, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at thebarriscollection.com or follow us on Instagram at thebarriscollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Ike Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Chris, who doesn't listen to the show? Ike is still on his way back from the Mendo Recce, and so Chris is filling in today, and we're going to talk about a couple of things. First off, we were at a wonderful little British car show here in the Los Angeles area this weekend, the Queen's English, which is a favorite, I think, of ours. It's certainly one of my favorites. I really enjoy it. It's got lots of great English cars. Yeah.
It's probably my favorite Los Angeles show.
I think so. Yeah. They also do a French one that we've never been to, but I would go.
I don't own any French cars.
Well,
I would go.
Yeah. It's just Citroens. No, of course not. No one does. No one does. No, it's just Citroens and Peugeot. That's it. Just Citroen and Peugeot.
Yeah, Peugeot.
And there's 9 of them.
Like long cigarettes.
Yeah, really long cigarettes and baguettes and that's it.
Yeah.
And croissant, and that's it. That's all there is. It's going to be great. I mean, we're going this year, I think. We should go. I think we should go because it's,
absolutely.
And we'll check it out this year. But anyways, it's just pretty funny because started with Minis on one side and ended with Land Rovers on the other side. So you, being a famous Mini collector, were on the absolute opposite side of the park that we were. So it was nice as we walked back and forth to see each other. We got to kind of see the entire breadth and depth of the show.
The whole show.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. There was like 12 Nashes there. There was so many British cars this year. It was last year it was pretty small, I have to say. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a timing thing, a weather thing, or what it was, but there were, I would reckon if it wasn't half, it was maybe a little less than 2/3 of the number of cars that there were this year. There was a ton of cars there this year.
It's interesting. Hey, I missed last year. I think the kids were sick or I was out of town. I don't remember why I missed last year, but that's interesting. This one felt like a normal Queen's English. It felt like it was back in full swing, pre-pandemic. Everybody out, everybody having a good time.
Yeah, just a lot of open mouth kissing. Sharing beverages. Just no problem. Yeah,
they're always playing that Rod Stewart song.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Tons of Forever Young.
Yeah. They really are. Yeah, they really are. It's a good point. Yeah. There was a ton of Mini. There were some really neat Minis. Really.
Yeah, there was some 30 or 40 Minis this year. It was a good showing for the Minis.
Yeah, it was nuts. That one that had what BMW motorcycle engine was it that they grafted in there?
I am not super familiar with BMW motorcycles, but I want to say it was a K series, maybe like a K11. Is that a BMW motorcycle? I think it was a K11. I know they make kits to do a Yamaha R1.
Oh, cool.
But that's a full engine.
Oh, okay.
So this one, the guy had, I'm going to say K11, not knowing if that's accurate or not, but it was a Mini bottom end.
Okay.
So the bottom end of the engine was still a Mini, and the gearbox was all Mini and everything like that. But then they had grafted onto the top end of it, just the top end of the K11, and he said it drives like a dream. It's got tons of horsepower when he needs it, but is super polite when he's just in traffic, and
it's amazing and
just a lot of fun.
It still has
that one was super cool.
Hand-operated clutch, and you still have to shift with your feet, but otherwise
it's weird. Yeah. But it's straight, so you just go.
Yeah, go through them. It's fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you have to put the gasoline in through the top of the engine, but otherwise it's fine.
Yeah, obviously,
that's fine.
Obviously,
yeah. But
I think the idea of doing like an R1 conversion would be a ton of fun, like a 10,000 RPM revving car.
It's like with just car. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be super fun.
Well,
It'd be super
the
fun.
thing I immediately think of when I think of Formula One car conversion is a Mini. I think they go kind
Yeah,
of hand in
obviously.
hand, right? Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. You
Pretty
know?
good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Well, and then of course there were, all your normal. There was a ton of Jaguars, of course, some really,
Tons of
really
Jags.
spectacular looking Jaguars. There's some nice stuff there. New ones and all the way back to super early ones. I mean, that's the thing. The Jaguar Club of North America, and specifically the Los Angeles chapter of the Jaguar Club of North America, Mark Mangola, our good friend who runs the chapter here, man, they've got some collectors in that club who collect some pretty incredible cars. Amongst them, of course,
They
Jay
sure do.
Leno and some other folks. But there's some nice cars in that row for
Yeah,
sure.
there really are.
I really want
There
one.
really are. I mean, it was one of the nice things about the Queen's English is like it's a great sort of cross section of history of everything. You get old in my case old minis and then
Yeah.
brand new minis that were released this year.
Yeah.
And same thing with the Jags and the Land
That's
Rovers
right.
and whatever.
Yeah.
It's sort of non-discriminatory. I would say new minis are not British made anymore, but
Right.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. It's
But,
fine. It's British
but yeah,
enough.
but certainly like it's British heritage. But yeah, the I think that's one of the super fun things about that show is that you get to see sort of a large cross section of stuff.
Yeah.
So
And I noticed that our good friend Michael wasn't there with his double decker bus this year. I got to give him a call.
he was not.
Okay.
He was not. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I missed
that
him.
area was also very muddy though. So
It
he
was.
just was afraid.
It
he'd
was.
get stuck.
It was. Yeah. He may have come and then turned back because it might have been a permanent installation in that park if he had gotten the double decker bus in there. But yeah, no, lots of cool stuff. And then of course down at the far end of the field was, of course, the mighty Land Rover, the Queen's favorite British car, in my opinion, and a pretty good showing. I think there was.
I like that your opinion. Wait, so it's your opinion that it's the Queen's favorite car?
Oh, for sure. She had the most of them. I mean, only second to Rolls Royce. She had more Land Rovers. I think she personally owned more Land Rovers than any other car. For sure. I don't think she owned. I don't think she owned a Mini.
You just said except Rolls Royce. So
no. I think she owned more her personally. The only two cars they owned were Rolls Royce and Minis, Rolls Royce and Land Rovers, and I think a couple of Jaguars, but mostly Land Rovers. I think she owned more Land Rovers than anything. Just saying, it's just math.
I'm gonna chat
GPT
math. Fact check you.
I don't know how that even. The thing is it's mostly wrong. 15. There was 15 Land Rovers there this year by my picture count here. Everything from I think the newest was a Discovery. Oh no, the newest was actually a gentleman who's been there a couple of times. I don't know if you saw it. The Range Rover Sport that has the what I can only describe as the action seat that rides on the front bumper. It rides off kind of the left-hand side of the front bumper.
Safari style? Like they're scouting for lions? Like big game?
So. Yeah, I guess so, except that it's in Los Angeles. So yeah, he has essentially like
tweakers,
he's got like a race seat that he has welded up a little mount for, and it sits a little bit above the height of where the driver's seat sits, except that it is literally off the very front corner of the driver's side of the hood. So you are way out there in front of the vehicle, and he was driving people around on it. He was, giving them a ride around. And if you want to look it up, he actually has a website down the side of his thing. It's rangeroveradventures.com, which is it's impressive that he got that URL, but it's rangeroveradventures.com. And best of all, the vehicle's for sale. So if you are looking for a vehicle with a seat off the front left side of the bumper, then you give him a call. He's a very nice gentleman. He's a French guy. Very nice, very, very nice man, actually. I've met him a few times.
He's going to get a Citroen.
Maybe he's going to trade in. He's going to trade in and get a Citroen. Put a seat on the front of that.
Put a seat on the front of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe the seat is included. I don't think he's going to keep it. I think he's going to include it with the truck.
What do you think some of the adventures? I mean, not disparaging him, but
Yeah.
what would you use that seat for, Steve? Would you
I
like
don't.
drive beside a river and like fish, maybe, or
I'm
like
not
would you like?
sure. I don't know if it's like you're gonna go off-roading with him and like you're gonna sit up there while he off-roads you along, and so you get like a bird's eye view of the off-road trail, or do you drive through a river and fish off of it like a drift boat? I don't know. I mean, those, and I don't, they do use those in Africa for game spotting, right? Someone sits up there
Yes.
with a rifle so that if need arises, they can shoot something.
Like Mufasa attacks,
Mufasa attacks because he was tricked by Scar. Then that guy's going to take him out. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure but you get strapped into that thing. He's strapped Cooper into it, and it's like a 5-point harness. So you're not gonna be thrown free in case of an accident. You'll just be crushed to death because you're not going to get out of there. I don't know. I mean, the only way to find out is to go to rangeroveradventures.com and check it out. But yeah, he's a really nice guy. I'll give the number here if anybody wants to call him. It's 310-488-5703. He said to spread the word that the vehicle is for sale. So there you go. Spreading the word. It's a really cool, very nicely prepared Range Rover Sports for off-roading. He's got bush cables. He's got a well-appointed roof rack, all the kit. He's got a really nice kitchen in the back that rolls out. He's got a tire carrier, lots of extra fuel, all kinds of business. So it is a nicely appointed Range Rover Sport. And bonus, it's got a seat strapped to the front bumper. So
I'm looking at my photos.
Mm-hmm.
You said well-appointed kitchen. I think that's a microwave.
It is a microwave. He does have a microwave in there. Yeah, 100%.
I don't think I've ever seen a microwave in a Range Rover.
You can Chef Boyardee out of the back of that thing. No problem.
That's delicious.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So
I love it.
Got to have a pretty decent inverter for a microwave. Those suckers are not easy to run off batteries. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Get a hot pocket after a day spent on the front bumper of a Range Rover. Nothing better. Nothing better.
Relocate the microwave to the hood so you can like hot pocket while you're riding.
Oh, that's a great idea. You just toss it in there and give it a couple minutes, and you never really have to leave the comfort of the front bumper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. There were a couple of Defenders, 3 Defenders actually, a couple of hardtop wagons, really nice looking NAS wagons that are in really, really great shape, and one actually really exceptional red NAS Defender that is in just exceptional shape, and apparently not too many miles on it. Looks fairly repainted and restored and things, and so there's always
it was a really nice looking truck. I went up and looked at that one as well.
Yeah,
it was really nice. Also for sale.
Yeah, also for sale. Almost everything's for sale. Hey, for the right price, everything's for sale.
Turns out Queen's English is just a Land Rover dealership.
It's kind of like a used car lot.
It's a British car show.
Yeah, a little bit of a used car lot. But yeah, the nice showing of Defenders. My good friend Robert was there with his Zebra Stripe Series 3. It's looking great as always and working well. We had a little bit of clutch work to help him out with up at Rover Rendezvous there, but he's been up to the workshop. He comes up for our monthly meetups here at the workshop. He's a member of the SoCal Rover Club, and so it was great to see him when we sat and hung out for a little bit and chatted, and his car's looking great and running great. And
he's a super nice guy.
He is. He's the greatest. He's really really super.
I don't think I'd met him before.
Oh yeah.
And just sat and chatted with him for a little bit. He seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. And then a couple people had their like full tent setups. They had their rooftop tent folded out, and their kitchens and their tables and their everything. They were encamped. They were like ready to spend the night in Woodley Park, but not hobo style, but like glamping style. It was pretty nice. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, several hobos moved in while they were there. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they've got them out yet, but yeah.
Nobody was in the spotting chair looking for them.
Yeah, they weren't. Exactly. That's the problem. Nobody was up there in the front spotting them, and they just moved right in. So yeah, a little bit difficult to get them out. But yeah, there was a Defender, looked to be a Rest of the World 110 that had a really nice big, hotel-sized, rooftop tent on there. And then one of the pop-up rolly-up ones.
I'm going to stop you, back up. You said Rest of the World 110.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of a the world one time.
Oh, the
What is
row,
the rest of the world?
the ROW, the row. So we'll call the ones that are meant for this market the NAS trucks, right? North American
Yeah,
spec.
NAS. Yes, I've heard NAS a billion
And
times.
we'll refer to the trucks that are not meant for the North American market or the British market. Row trucks or rest of the world trucks.
No,
So
I've never heard that term.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you learned
I
something
learned
new.
something new.
If you'd listen to the show, then you'd hear some of these things. But
I can't.
no, it's impossible. No, I mean you got the nickname now, so yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, our buddy Chris
Well,
Garber
here's
was down visiting the workshop here this past weekend and was just thrilled to meet Chris, who doesn't listen to the show. Local
Yeah,
celebrity.
we had a
here.
lovely dinner.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had a great dinner. It was awesome to have him here and hanging out a little bit and driving around some shitty old Land Rovers. And yeah, he got to meet the some famous local podcast celebrities. So there you go. You too, anytime you're in town, could come around the shop, and maybe you too will be lucky enough to meet Chris, who doesn't listen to the show. And then there was a Discovery 2 with a little pop-up rooftop tent. He popped his tent up and everything as well, so it was pretty cool. It was like a little bit of a display for people to come around and check out, more than just the truck sitting there, which is always fun. I think people enjoy that. And there was not a 6-cylinder. Our good friend brought another, not a 6-cylinder. This time he didn't break down on the way here. This one is totally restored. Absolutely beautiful job. I'm not sure who did the restoration actually, but absolutely fantastic car. Like just nut and bolt restored. Looks totally beautiful. Really, really, really nicely done car. Really cool Arabian market, a Saudi Arabian car, Series 2A. With all the little specific bits and bobs that go on to the Arabian market cars, hydraulic winch, the tire on the slope side of the roof, the roof basket. It had brake boosters, fender top lights, extra fuel cans on the front fenders, all the sort of weird little Arabian market, right down to the Arabian AAA badge on the grill and all that stuff. It's a really neat car. I've seen it before and really like it. It's a really neat one. Ike and I have tried to buy that car several times, and the owner is not selling, but we'll wear him down eventually. We'll get him there, But it's a cool car. Really, really cool. I really like those Arabian market cars. My stage 1 is an Arabian market car, so it has the different carburetors and stuff, and meant to run on very high octane fuel, and it has all kinds of pre-filters and things and extra gas tanks and stuff because it's meant to drive for thousands of miles across the desert. So before it can get gas, so
the rest of the world.
The rest of the world. It's meant to go the rest of the world. Yeah. And actually, technically, this isn't a rest of the world car. It's an Arabian market car. So it's yet another category.
Very.
The rest of the world excludes the Arabian market. That's a different thing. So it's like the rest of the world excludes all these other things. There's like a long list of things, and then there's the rest of the world. But the Arabian cars are not the rest of the world, I guess. So yeah, it's a complicated menagerie of things. But nice Trek Discovery 2, and the Trek trim. And then, of course, we brought our yellow wagon, the Series 1 wagon, which is always a crowd pleaser. People love that. Liza drove that one down, and I drove the Firetruck. I drove the Series 2 Firetruck, the world's slowest, heaviest vehicle. This is the longest trip we'd taken it on, and oh boy, it was slow. It was real slow.
I like that when we left the shop, you're like, you should go first because you're going to be the slowest. And I'm like,
Yes.
there's no way I'm the slowest.
No, not even close. not even close. No, going up the hills. Yeah, I took for granted that the curb weight of that car is close to 5,000 pounds. If you were to have water in it, it would be almost another 1,000 pounds on top of that. So yeah, sitting on the lawn, which like you said earlier, was a little muddy, a little wet. It was sinking in to the point where it took a little bit to get it to climb out of the holes that it had made in the lawn. It is a heavy car,
Maybe that's why they stopped doing them.
Yeah, they only made 8 of them.
The house was burnt down by the time it got there. It's just like, the fire's out.
It might be. It may be, yes. In Firefly's infinite wisdom, there was, the only 8 were produced because, it's maybe a 4-cylinder Land Rover is not the speed vehicle you need for fire tending. I mean, it does have
emergency response.
Yeah, I don't know that its off-road prowess is quite as renowned when you make it weigh an extra 2 tons by putting all kinds of pumps and shit in the back of it. So anyway, it's very, 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 very slow, but it got there. Hey, it was a nice drive down. Actually, it was very slow going up hills and stuff, but it was, just hummed along. And, we really haven't had a chance to do much with the car. Of course, Ben and Eric have taken very, very good care of it out on the East Coast. But, it's been sitting for a long time. And, we did a little bit of work, the fluids, obviously put a new battery in it the morning of to take it down there so that we didn't have to worry about jump starting it constantly. And other than that, it's really been, more or less untouched since it was, sort of found in a bunker in Edmonton. And, it's a pretty great car. People really, really love a Firetruck, man. It's a crowd pleaser.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Yeah. We got the siren working. I'm not sure that the brake lights work, but the siren works. That's all
I meant to mention that to you. I don't think the brake lights work in either the wagon or the Firetruck.
No.
So
there you go. Yeah.
It's a good thing I came on the show. I wouldn't have told you otherwise.
Oh, well, good. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. It's better now than never, I suppose. Yeah. Speaking of brake lights not working, so as we said...
Let's live dangerously.
Yeah, let's live dangerously. You recently purchased, and this is the car that you brought to the Queen's English Car Show, recently purchased a brand new to you Mini. A little Mini. The tiniest
brand
car.
New to me.
Yeah.
Old Mini. Brand new old Mini.
And that was from the old Bring a Trailer. Which is
it was not Bring a Trailer.
Oh right, it wasn't Bring a Trailer. That's right. I keep thinking it was Bring a Trailer. Cars and bids. That's right.
Well, it's so. I mean, Bring a Trailer is the default, car auction when you think about
that's right.
A classic car.
Online car auction.
It is the Kleenex of car auctions, and you pay a premium if you buy from Bring a Trailer, obviously. Yeah. So great for sellers.
I think you did pretty good. I don't think you really paid much of a premium. I think you got a pretty great deal on this.
No. I think I'm happy with Cars and Bids, but I think because it's a lesser known site, I think you get better deals.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, every once in a while.
And I got to say, nothing but good things to say about Cars and Bids. They were fantastic to deal with. They were helpful the whole way, made the process super easy. Yeah. Kind of I had never bought a car via auction before. And, it's a little unnerving when you're, send thousands of dollars to a stranger and not know if you're going to get a thing at the end of the day. Yep. But they were great the whole way through. They kind of helped the whole process and guide you through it. And the website was responsive and good and easy to bid and increment. And it was a good process. I would buy from Cars and Bids again, I think. Nice. I would investigate more pre-buying, I think.
Right.
As I would do a little bit more, a little more question asking.
Right.
So I kind of came in at the end and I didn't really have time to ask the questions. I just kind of saw it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy it.
Yep. And so, so we got the money down to the seller up in Colorado, right? It was in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado. And it got shipped down here. It's been here for what? It's been here for a month?
Just under a month, I think.
Yeah, a few weeks. And so what was it? Last weekend before, something like that. We finally got it into the shop as we finally cleared some other projects and finally got around to getting it on the schedule and getting it up in the air and starting to, really go through it in earnest. There's a pretty significant oil leak that was sort of job one to get into. So that was we thought it was transmission linkage. We hoped it was the this linkage rod.
Yeah, there's in the Minis, the earlier Minis had what they called a magic wand style gear shifter where it would connect straight into
Of course it's called that. This is adorable.
It's magic.
It's adorable.
It was called a magic wand, and it went straight into the gearbox. And then the later Minis, I don't remember when they started, but the later Minis had what's called a rod change. Yeah. So it's, the gear shifter is literally beside you and goes down and over. And it's a super common place for the Minis to leak there. Right. And certainly there was it was leaking. Of oil there. So it was leaking. Sort of it was definitely leaking, no question. And that's sort of where the investigation started. And then we learned more and more.
Oh, yeah. Well, we took that apart, first of all, to find that was
no seal.
Yeah, missing the seal entirely. It just wasn't in there. As we kind of took it all apart and cleaned it all out and everything, we're sort of like, wow, this seems like, as we were trying to like pull the seal out and realize that there's nothing to pull out. This is the back of the linkage that we're looking at here. There's no seal in this thing. So, that would explain the leak. Yeah. And obviously put the new seal in and sealed it up nicely. And that's sealed up now. That's not leaking anymore. And
one problem fixed.
Yeah, took the time to steam clean the engine, which, anytime you're looking for, you're trying to chase down a leak on a brand new car, it's new to you and it's significantly oily, significantly dirty, even if you don't have the steam cleaner and stuff like we do here, even just taking it to the car wash and, hitting the underside of it with engine degreaser or something, even just the spray bottle of engine degreaser and really rinsing it off at the car wash just to get a sense of the clean engine so that you can let it drip for a little bit and figure out where that drip is coming from. Man, is that helpful? So we did that. We did a big steam cleaning and that was helpful. That was helpful for sure.
Yeah, super helpful. I mean, it led us sort of up the block, and I think we've got diff seals to do still.
Yeah.
So I've ordered all that stuff. And then above that, it looks like where the mechanical fuel pump that rides off of the cam is leaking there. And that's where we sort of discovered that things were finger tight, it seems. I'm calling the car Project Finger Tight.
Project Finger Tight.
That's what I've decided to call it. Project Finger Tight.
Yep.
Because I literally every bolt I've touched has been only finger tight.
Yes, that's true. It is there. Yeah, there has not been a tight bolt yet that we have found to spec.
No,
probably the most disturbing ones were as we took the wheel nuts off. We're gonna change tires, or we were just gonna start sort of investigating a little more.
Well,
but
whenever you buy a Mini, first thing, if you're going to go look at one in person or something like that, jack it up and shake the tire kind of horizontally.
Yeah.
And that will tell you if the wheel bearings are bad, right?
Yeah.
And if you go up and down, it'll tell you the ball joints are bad. So I was kind of doing that, and like there seemed like a lot of play in there.
There's a lot of play.
Took the wheel off and looked a little closer, and lo and behold, the castle nut that holds the hub on.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't even say finger tight.
No.
Not tight at all.
No.
It was split pin tight, I guess, because it was held on literally by the split pin.
That's
and
right.
That was broken.
Yeah. Yeah, that was partially broken. Yeah. Yeah.
On
both sides.
Thank God I live close to the shop. Yeah, on both sides, literally. Yeah. Left and right side, driver's side, passenger side.
Sides, yeah.
Either castle nut holding the hubs on was tight, and it was again. Thank God I live close to the shop because that's as far as I drove it. Right, I drove
that's
from
right.
my house to the shop.
And, yep.
And then it went up on the lift, and I'm glad we found it because there was talk of us flying to Colorado to pick it up and drive it back.
Yeah,
I can't imagine in some mountain pass, the passenger wheel flying off and. We probably wouldn't die, but but you'd go that fast.
Yeah, you'd hit the ground pretty quickly, and that would just be a nightmare to fix. And
oh man,
yeah, it would be a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, and just for reference, I think the manual called for 155 foot-pounds on that particular bolt, something like that, right? It was
it was something like that.
Yeah.
It was measured in nanometers, and it was 200 plus nanometers.
It was, and that's knacker cracker tight. That is a lot of force. That's two people.
Yeah.
Going full out to get it to that tight. So to be held on by just the split pin. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Not good. Not good.
Don't want that.
So that's definitely like if you're shopping for a car. I mean, you probably wouldn't have found that if you were investigating the car in person. Either.
No.
Right.
No.
And but like I wish I had like popped in the comments and stuff before I started bidding and been like, hey, the pictures look great. Where's it leaking oil from? Because it's an old British car.
Yeah.
I know it's leaking oil.
Yeah.
Right.
Talk about where it's leaking
oil. But
oil.
if I had known the extent of like how much oil it's leaking, because it's like a quart.
It's a lot.
A day.
It's a lot. It's a big leak.
I would have maybe refined my bid a little bit. I'm still super happy with my purchase.
Yeah,
it's a ton of fun to drive. Minis, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just the amount of work that you got to put into it. Right?
Yeah. So, I certainly think that you even given the work that we have to do on it, I mean, it's fine. And again, like. We'll do the work ourselves in the shop here. It's fine. Now, if you had purchased this and you had to take this to a Mini specialist and have this work done, this could add, I mean, it could probably double the price of the car. You thankfully didn't pay that much for it. So,
Oh, by the
you
time you do all of that, yeah, for sure.
at a shop, I mean, it would
You're gonna
be,
add thousands of
oh,
dollars.
for sure. Yeah,
No
for sure.
question.
The parts aren't really that bad if you can find them and everything, but it's the labor. I mean, it's just to take these cars apart and
Mhm.
to have the correct tools. I mean, to take the hubs off takes a particular tool. To do the, you need a lot of specialty stuff to work on these, these old British cars. And, that's where, sure, it's a great deal, but you have to be careful because, and like I talk about all the time. It's, you have to really kind of understand what you're getting into. And, you have
Mhm.
to understand, are you buying a project? Are you buying a car that you want to drive? Are you buying a car that you want to restore? Are you buying and
I'm
that's the
somewhere in the middle of
in the
those right
middle
now,
of
I
that.
think.
Well, we'll get this one running in no time. And obviously we have, with a significant amount of resources compared to your average, online auction
Yeah.
buyer. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think it's a great little car, and we'll post some photos up on the Instagram there so everybody can take a look. It's a fun little car to drive. I sure like zipping around in it. And yeah, it was fun to convoy down there with, people must have wondered what the heck was going on with a yellow Series 1 and a Mini and a friggin' Land Rover Firetruck. Just where the
Yeah.
hell are those
Maybe
guys
sandwiched in
going?
between them.
Yeah, just a mini sandwich between them
Yeah.
and going
Yeah.
30 miles an hour. What the hell's going on
Yeah.
there? But no, it was
I'm
really fun.
your crumples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, just in case I
Yeah.
couldn't quite stop enough. There was a Mini in the way so that I didn't do any damage to the wagon. Yeah, the wagon's very collectible. You have to make sure I don't want to do any damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was super fun. The kids had a ton of fun. It's a good time. Real good time.
Yeah. What was your favorite, Land Rover aside, Minis aside?
Yeah.
What car, if you were going to take one home from the Queen's English, would you brought home?
Well, Jay Leno showed up in that Bentley, like it's like a 16-cylinder Bentley that looked like an airplane without the wings on it. That
I
thing,
think all Bentleys are 16 cylinders, right?
yeah, I don't know.
Like every
It's just like, yeah,
like
this
there's
is like it's like a Bentley from like the 1920s or something that like is half
Yeah.
airplane or something. That thing was very, very cool. There was some
like
neat
steampunk
Lotuses.
before steampunk
Yeah, it was,
existed.
yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. It took him like 15 minutes to get it started. It was like there was a tiny engine that starts the larger engine or something. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
And there was some really cool Lotuses. There was one like your dad's that was the same white one.
Yeah, the
Very cool.
77.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah. I've always loved the Super Sevens, the Lotus 7.
Yeah.
I love those so much.
Yeah.
It's like a weird cross between like a Morgan and not really a Morgan, I guess, but like it's just like that open cab and that like I love everything about them. I would buy one of those. And maybe not in a heartbeat because I'm out of garage space, but I would strongly consider that. I can't imagine how sore I would be after driving that though. Like the bounciness and like that.
Oh yeah.
Although it was funny. Brody and my wife and I were talking to some of the people that were owners of the sevens, and it was two older ladies. A couple grandmas own these like awesome race cars. Like I just like I don't know. It sounds like so much fun. I would love to hang out with them all the time.
They sound like a lot of fun to hang out with. Definitely want to hang out with those grandmas and their Lotuses. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, and I've always wanted a Morgan. I'm a huge Morgan fan. I don't think I'd like a three-wheeler. I even even the modern Morgan with the BMW engine in it. I just like those cars. I like the shape of them. I love them. They're made of wood. Like kind of everything about them is just a really, they're a really, really neat car. There was, I don't dislike a Nash. I think they're kind of a neat car. There was some kind of cool ones, but there, an XK 120. I've always wanted. There was a white XK 120 with red interior, which is my favorite XK 120. Which I would really like one of those. I've always wanted that. Last year, there was an XK 150 hardtop that was powder blue with white interior, which was very similar to one that I drove at the factory. that was really cool, and it wasn't there this year. I don't know what happened to it, but there was some amazing older Jags there that are cool that I really liked. But yeah, if I had to have just one, I don't know. It's hard to say. Jay Leno's airplane car is pretty neat, but it's like a weird single seater. Like I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess it's a race car. I guess it's a Bentley, like a Bentley race car from the 20s. I think is sort of what it was. But I mean, it's humongous. It's like the size of a minibus. But it's just for one person and an engine, it's just insane. And it sounds like it's just like a freight train, it's just crazy. Yeah. Very cool.
I think he has like an Awuga horn.
He did have an Awuga horn on it. Yeah. Oh, the kids loved it. Yeah. They were so thrilled when he hit the horn. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too. Yeah. I was probably just, if no more excited than they were. Yeah.
We're all kids.
Yep. Yeah, some great little MGs. There's some of that sort of stuff. For the first time, there was no DeLorean. There's usually at least one, because it's made in Belfast. So there's usually at least one. One guy that shows up with a DeLorean. So I guess no. I guess they're it was too hot. They couldn't make it. Like a baked potato in that thing. You can't do it. The air conditioning never works, so you can't take them out in the sun. It's just too hot. It would just be too hot. But I do love a DeLorean. I want one real bad, but it's one of those things. Never gonna get one, but probably will. So, well, with that, we'll wrap it up. But if you haven't headed on over to the Underpowered Hour YouTube, now is the time because, man, is there some good stuff on there. There's great content from this past month's Scar, and there's also great shop content, 3D printing content. Man, people really enjoy that stuff. So, if you want to look at that, there's the 3D printers right there. It's like you just reach out and touch them. You make little bins right now. Why aren't they making little bins? Use it as an armrest. You could do that. And if you haven't got your fill of the fantastic Underpowered Hour shop stuff, if you're looking to get some quick things before you head up to the big Anarch Festival on the West Coast coming up here in Redmond, Oregon, then head on over to the Underpowered Hour store. Get yourself a t-shirt, get some stickers, and come on down and see us at the Redmond Fairgrounds, I think. I don't even know where it is exactly, but it's in Redmond, Oregon, and there's a bunch of Land Rovers. You'll find it. Just drive around until you see a bunch of Land Rovers.
What about the dates? When are the dates?
Well, it's over the long weekend in May, which I think is at the end of May. It's the end of May.
All right.
Of 24. If you're listening to this,
you heard it here, folks. In maybe end of May,
yeah, probably,
maybe in Redmond.
Yeah, probably in Redmond.
Probably Land.
If you're listening to this in 2025, you missed it. So sorry. With that, we'll talk to you soon, Chris. Hopefully, you listen to this episode. Maybe this is the one. I don't know. No
chance.
Yeah, likely not. All right. Well, with that, then we won't talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Barris, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Barris. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.